Ty with Ty the Dog Guy on the Daily, and I want to talk about a question that I've had a few times over the years, and I know can be really difficult for folks that have high energy dogs. And the question essentially comes down to, help, I have a high energy dog who's injured that needs to be down for a while, you know, off his feet, resting, etc. So, I mean, sometimes this can be something as simple as, you know, the dog got neutered or spayed, but generally in those instances we're talking like 3, 4, 5 day recovery, and so usually most people can power through that. What I'm about to say will apply to that, but I'm thinking more along the lines of, you know, someone whose dog had, you know, high energy dog maybe needed to have more of an invasive surgery that's going to be, you know, several weeks of downtime, or broke a leg, or, you know, tore a muscle, or, you know, something along those lines. And so when you have a dog that needs downtime, and you know your dog, and your dog is not the kind of dog that wants downtime, and your dog is the kind that, you know, needs to be moving and active, there's really two things that I recommend to folks. So one of those things is mental activity. And so most mental activity that I'm going to recommend is going to revolve around some sort of either food or toy. Now, again, you don't want to, we're talking about having a dog be down, you know, and resting. And so it's going to be tough, you know, to really employ a toy. But as far as food, you can do a lot of things with food that really engage the brain, engage the mind, but aren't doing a whole lot for the body. And especially if you can use the nose, what happens when you use your dog's nose is, I'm this big believer in that there's this bond between your dog's nose and your dog's brain. It's this thick, strong bond that if you can activate that nose and keep it active, it like sucks power from the brain. You know, the brain just like, you know, the power goes straight out the nose. And so if you have this very active dog that needs to be down, well, try to suck some of that some of that power out through your dog's nose. And so, for example, one thing you could do is spread your dog's food out on the lawn so that your dog, you know, in not that big of an area, so your dog's not moving too much. You know, I'm talking here obviously about a dog that can at least walk around. Spread your dog's food out on the lawn and have your dog start, you know, eating the food on the lawn so that they're having to smell for it. Another cool one I saw the other day, or a few cool ones that I've seen, is like, you know, take a you know, one of these plastic swimming pools, kiddie pools, fill it with like bottles and other, like plastic bottles and other little objects, and throw the food in there. So the dog has to get in there and really root around and things like that. I saw one the other day that was like this big ball of felt, like a bunch of felt pieces, and they threw their dog's food in the felt pieces, so the dog really had to dig, you know, nose around in there and get it out. If your dog is capable of walking a little bit and, you know, isn't like 100% down, then, you know, hiding little treats and stuff around the room, at first what you do is you know, you wouldn't even hide it. You would say, hey, look what I got, and you would attach a word like, find it, you know, and you would put it down right in front of you, and the dog's 4 feet away, and let the dog come get it. And then find it, you know, at 4 feet, 4 feet, 4 feet, find it at 5 feet, 5 feet, over and over and over, and then, you know, you just put it just out of sight, and then you just put it a little bit further, and then eventually you can get to the point to where, like, you're in the room, and you're like, find it, and, you know, the dog has to nose around the room and use his nose to find it. And so playing little nose games like that is going to go a huge way of depleting that energy that your dog's got, and depleting all that, you know, excess get up and go that your dog has. It can help a ton. It really can. And then the other thing is proper confinement. And so this is where I've had a lot of people be very conflicted over the years, because the idea of like keeping the dog in the crate for 22 hours a day, if, you know, or whatever, depending on how down the dog should be. You know, some dogs really, you know, the vet says, hey, dog goes home and really can't be moving around at all. A lot of people struggle with that, and they struggle with the idea of like in the crate, out to the bathroom, in the crate, out to the bathroom, and that's it. What I try to encourage folks in that scenario is like, look, this is 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever this is. This is like a tiny drop in the bucket of your dog's life. Will it be a fun 4 to 6 weeks? No. Just like it probably wouldn't be very fun if you got laid up and you had both your legs broken and you had to be in bed for 4 to 6 weeks or whatever. You might think that's cool at first because you just can sit and watch Netflix and eat Cheetos, but like, you're gonna hate it. You know, you're gonna hate it pretty quick. And your dog's going to hate being in that crate pretty quick too. When we're talking about healing the body, you just have to put yourself in a mental situation to where you're like, okay, you know, he's not going to like this, but we're just going to get through it. But those two things, activating your dog's nose and brain, you know, for some of these games. And again, look online, you know, look on YouTube for different games you can play. I've seen cool things where, you know, this guy put 2-liter bottles and he had it on this dowel that was attached to these posts, and the dog had to like flip the bottle, a little piece of food would drop out, and so there was almost no like physical activity involved. But anyways, if you look online for like nose games or food games for your dog, you're going to be able to find like a ton, you know, dozens of like little activities that most dogs could do, you know, if you just set it forth. And then, like I say, if it comes down to it and you have to have the dog in the crate longer than usual, it'll pass. You know, your dog will get through it, and you know, hopefully get through it physically, and we won't have to do that again.